Mick was an elderly man burdened by bitterness and sadness. His life had been marred by more hardships than one person should endure. Tragedy struck when he lost his wife and daughter in a car accident, driving him to seek solace in alcohol and substance abuse, though he later managed to overcome these struggles. Mick also faced unemployment and was compelled to abandon his spacious family home in the city, relocating to a humble cabin deep within the woods. It was undoubtedly a challenging period. His friends had distanced themselves from him, and he had no immediate family left. It was evident to anyone who encountered Mick that he was a lonely soul. Although he maintained a facade of strength and pride, those solitary nights in the woods, beside a quiet lake, forced him to acknowledge his loneliness. Consequently, he chose to live in isolation, far removed from the outside world. As a freelance writer for various companies, he ventured into the city only when necessary for food and supplies. Although he tried to convince himself that he relished this secluded life, Mick remained unaware of the unexpected change that was about to transform his existence. One day, while Mick was engrossed in his laptop work, a faint but persistent tapping sound interrupted him. It startled him, as the cabin typically offered nothing but silence. Turning around, he scanned the cabin, finding nothing amiss. He resumed his work, attributing the noise to the gentle breeze outside. However, the tapping resumed louder and more deliberate this time. Mick stood up and began to investigate the source of the sound. To his amazement, he discovered it was coming from the cabin door. He cautiously approached the wooden entrance, opened it, and found no one there. It was perplexing. As he prepared to close the door, something caught his eye. He looked down and nearly gasped in surprise. An otter sat there, gazing up at him. The otter appeared aged, with silvery gray hairs scattered in its fur. It tapped on the doorframe once more before revealing a small, perfectly round pebble at its feet, as if offering it as a gift. Mick smiled and retrieved a piece of fruit from his kitchen. The otter accepted the offering and happily nibbled on it before sauntering back towards the lake. Mick found the encounter strange but dismissed it as a one-time occurrence. However, over the next few days, the old otter returned repeatedly, always bearing a pebble, enjoying a meal, and then departing. A unique and endearing bond began to form between Mick and the little otter. Mick, though grizzled and despondent, began to anticipate his daily visits with excitement. Every morning, he discovered a new special stone on his porch, accompanied by the otter's gentle tapping on the door. Mick provided various foods, ranging from bread and cereal to fruit and leftovers, though the otter's favorite was tuna, which it devoured with gusto whenever offered. Mick, delighted by this unexpected friendship, captured the moments in photos and videos, which he shared on a local news website. The story attracted attention from the community, and a reporter even reached out to Mick for an interview. People began contacting him, some with questions, others expressing gratitude for his wildlife care. Additional photos of the otter were always welcomed. Mick was unaccustomed to this level of interest in his life, but to his surprise, he found himself enjoying the newfound attention. Over the next few months, he divided his time between work and spending time with his otter friend, sharing hand-picked pebbles from the otter with his admirers. Life had taken an unexpected and pleasant turn. One morning, Mick woke up as usual, eagerly awaiting his otter companion's visit. However, there was no sign of the otter, no tapping on the door, and no pebble left behind. Days passed, and the otter remained absent. Mick had placed a can of tuna as an offering, but it remained untouched, except for the occasional visit from birds. Growing concerned, Mick decided to venture out and search for his little friend around the lake. After hours of walking, he still couldn't find the otter. As he returned to his cabin, he noticed a small shape near the corner of the building, next to the drain pipe. His heart sank as he approached it. There lay the otter, peaceful and still. Its salt and pepper coat was dry, indicating that it had been there for days. Mick was heartbroken. The otter clutched a unique pebble in its paw, shaped like a love heart. It seemed the otter had intended to offer it at Mick's door before passing away. Mick gave the otter a proper burial next to his porch, overlooking the tranquil lake where it had lived. To mark the special spot, he arranged all the pebbles collected from the otter into a neat commemorative pile. While the otter's tale ended in sorrow, Mick's life took an unexpected turn. Thanks to the news story, he made friends with many people who had admired the otter. He began to visit the city, hosted visitors at his cabin, and even paid tribute to his otter friend at its resting place. Mick's days became filled with warmth and companionship, and he cherished this new chapter in his life, all thanks to the unexpected friendship of a little old otter that had brought joy into his world.